Okay. And here we go.
Tom, you're on.
Hi, I'm Tom Nguyen, and I am a comic book artist and TV artist, and you are on Splash Pages.
Is the one obvious thing.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm monkey behind the keyboard here. We have a great show scheduled for you as always. And with us, we'll kick it on over to Carrie. How's it going?
Going good, everybody. Hello. Happy to see you. Hey, Tom Dog. How you doing? Having a great day. My internet's been a little funky, so if I drop, sorry. But I ran out of Coke Zero, so I'm drinking wine tonight because I need an excuse for that. But we have some special guests joining us, so let's hop over and see how my gal pal's doing.
Hey, MJ.
Hi, guys. It's really good to be back. MJ here. It's been, on a few shows. I'm really pleased to be here again. Thanks, guys.
Woohoo. Mr. Drew.
Hi, I'm Drew. I think this time. Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday. You're here. People are here. MJ joined us. Hey, MJ. Yeah, so as always, we've got a great guest. Artist extraordinaire. Has no problem correcting people when he mispronounces his name. There's a fun story there. You've seen him on stuff with DC, independent companies. You've seen him on Marvel, DC, all that kind of stuff. Personally speaking, he also did one of my favorite Ghostbuster stories, but he also worked on iconic stories like Batman Under the Red Hood, other gems like Major Bummer, and other things we're going to talk to him about, including some of his current project that Carrie can tell you all about. Everybody, the one, the only Tom Nguyen.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
Hey, Tom.
Hello.
You kind of caught me off guard there a second. I didn't think it was going to cut to me so quickly. That's a killer intro sequence you guys have.
Thank you. That's all Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. He spent like 2 weeks.
More than just a keyboard monkey.
Oh, no. That monkey's got power.
You could tell he's like the techie. You're the techie audio video guy.
Yes, I am. I've been doing tech for way too long, so it's Yeah, and they call me the keyboard monkey because I sling shit as well. So it's
He does. He's very subtle with that. No, seriously, he's like our cue to our 007. We're like, yeah, do this thing. I was like, all right, so it blows shit up. He's like, yeah, basically. I'm like, okay. So
We all need at least one of those types in our lives,
Well,
especially
yeah,
in this day and age of advanced, tech and AI and everything. We need someone to kind of help us along, catch up.
indeed. So, but Tom, thank you for coming back. It's nice to
Thanks for having
have
me.
you on officially instead of, oh, hey, do you want to do a podcast? Yeah, I'll be on in 10 minutes. Just walking my dog.
That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I remember. I was
That
literally walking my
hysterical.
dog.
That was too funny.
That was so much fun. We're just like, shit. Hey Keith, what are you doing? And then he calls you, and then Dean's in the audience, and just like, I mean, I can hang out. And they're like, well, yeah. We got a lot of views on that show too.
I think that was actually my first show with you guys, if I remember.
Oh, was it really?
I think
yeah.
that was it.
Yeah. Because okay, so Tom, we have something I'm coining it as the Carrie method, where you're a fan of the show, you watch the show, you hype the show, you comment on the show, become friends with people on the show, and then they let you be on the show. And then you keep coming back, and eventually you're part of the show. That's essentially how Carrie did it. Is that right? So that's the Carrie method. It's how you go from fan to Fantastic Four member.
Yeah, Jar, hi. When I was such a super fan of the show, I was always sending him IMs on Facebook, and I was just like, what's the read for next week so that I can like read it too and keep up with you guys and stuff. And eventually he's like, why don't you ever come on the show? Like, other members of the Dorkening can be on the show. You can totally be on the show. And I'm like, I'm just a fan, right? Like, I'm not a member of the network at all. I have my own podcast on a different network, and then my network joined with the Dorkening. But before that, I became a part of the Dorkening because a lot of confusion and totally fangirling out. And then we had somebody who came and visited us at our booth and like kind of fangirled out over us, and we had a super fun time at Terrificon. And now she joined us too.
Yep, she's usually the first person I message. Like, these are who we're having on this month. What show do you want?
And I literally I want this one. I want that one.
No. MJ's like, oh, I don't know. I've got all these projects, and then I'm working 2 jobs, and 5 a.m. comes really quickly, and I gotta get the makeup and wardrobe. I gotta get this face on. I got the right shape.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just everything. I was like, it's so hard being so cheery and goth, and I'm just like, okay, just let us know. Just a lot of exposition.
And this time, as you asked me, and I've got receipts. I was, hey, it's Tom Nguyen. I'm like, oh yeah, and it was literally yesterday. Literally, I'm like, oh, perfect timing. I literally just got finished reading Under the Red Hood. It was the timing was like,
oh,
bam,
that's great.
Bam, bam. I literally just got done reading it.
Well, but MJ, I've told you I don't know how to respond to that because very normally I get Drew, this is horrible timing. Why are you calling me now? Like, or just so for a woman to say, no, it's good timing. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
For me, that called the MJ method, man. Just go with it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I get it. But, okay, we had somebody say they know you, Tom.
Oh, Rhiannon, yeah. It's been a while since I've, hey, Rhiannon, how are you? Long time no see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does he have a page or place where he got? Yes.
Find me on socials. Find me on socials and just message me.
Yeah, he'll get back to you eventually.
Yeah, we'll catch up. It's been she's great.
We should have some links.
Indeed.
Yeah, there should be links in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And or if you follow us on social, best bet is like on Blue Sky. We're using that a lot more. We just tag Tom in a post, so you can find his information there as well.
Are we following each other on Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Am I following you guys?
Yeah.
I better be.
I'm following you. I know that. I was very clear when I started Blue Sky. I was like, who do I know?
Listen, I was excited.
Oh, see, I just got a notification
Instagram,
too.
When Tom sent me that Instagram, I'm like, oh my gosh! I think only a few people I've accepted quicker. From follow back, like give me.
You know what it is? It's whenever creators like you back or message you or even acknowledge you, I feel like it's like that line in Christmas Story
It is.
when he's talking about like honors and accolades at the age of 9.
No,
Oh
like
my, you know,
It's been too long.
It's-
I don't
I don't know, it
remember.
hits
It's been so
differently.
long since I've seen that movie.
no, but the point being is he's just like, oh, the honor.
literally, I'm like, I'm really right in the middle of building. I'm like elbow deep in building a Gambit cosplay right now, guys.
Yeah.
Super cool. Gambit's like my
I
favorite X-Men.
I managed to capture, and it's embarrassing how many times it took me to get the Kirby crackle effect inside of the staff.
Nice.
Oh,
That's great.
Okay,
That
so
was-
MJ, the question
Speaking
is,
of Gambit,
yeah, go down.
I've been I'm in the middle of trying to chip away at this commission for this gentleman named Mike, and he had commissioned something from me before, like a Spider-Man versus Venom, but he was kind enough to commission another piece, and this is an X-Men '97 piece, and this is the first time
Leo,
I've ever showed this
page.
anywhere, but it's not complete, but it's got Gambit on there, so I started inking it, but it's so hard lately for me to find time to kind of peck away at it.
Mhm.
But I really can't wait. It's like just whenever I have spare time, I'll throw in a few lines.
Mhm.
Let's see how well this shows
that
up.
is fantastic.
A little higher. Wow, look at
Brilliant.
that.
That
That
is
is
very yes,
huge.
absolutely.
Tom.
I am
So this will be like a full color piece when it's all done. But I've been meaning to wrap this up, a few weeks ago, but stuff just keeps
damn.
popping up, and working on the Switch and or Electricia and
Right,
so yeah. But I can't wait. I wanted to make that a world premiere on your show here, even though it's not finished.
that's gonna be
But
truly
NJ was talking about Gambit.
it's
I like
already
Gambit.
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
I appreciate that.
Tom, we're gonna take 5 minutes for a cigarette break. That was that sexy. Okay. That was,
Yeah,
Well, your reactions really, really made my night because it makes me feel like I'm
That's
kind of heading in the right direction.
I've got goosebumps. Yeah. Gee, and as far as it taking a while, I would never hold it against a creator to take a while doing something because I know that they're giving it their all instead of just half-ass drawing something,
No.
And that
Yeah, those are the best types of customers too that understand that sometimes things don't go on schedule and they don't get their commission as fast. I've been roasted online. I'm aware of that.
but and
last year I was pretty roasted.
Oh, really? Well, it's funny.
Yeah, because I was going through some personal issues and stuff with family, and because of that, I kind of went radio silent, and I own it. I wasn't working on commissions. It wasn't my priority at the time, and I just wasn't getting back to people. But I had to deal with my own stuff before I could,
Yeah, but at the same time, you're a human being, man, and again, as long as you communicate with people, it's like, listen, I'm still going to honor an agreement. And
I wasn't. That's the thing. I didn't feel like it at the time.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Again, human being. But
yeah, sometimes that happens, though. I mean, life, throws a rock at you, and you just need to head yourself for a while.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's just one day at a time.
It's funny because I was talking to Carrie about this morning. I had this really simple idea because there are some extremely talented people at conventions, and every once in a while you find somebody who's doing super awesome work and oh yeah, $40, and they just whoa. And I was talking to Carrie about this joke that we should have some sort of collage driven by different artists, and it should be a different artist drawing one of us, just as a kind of a splash page.
Kind of like a jam piece?
Yeah, a jam piece. And it would just be really funny seeing different artists' version of someone drew Leo, someone drew me, no pun intended. Somebody drew Carrie or MJ or other people on the network. And it's just this accumulated X-Men-ish graduation group photo. And we're just and I was like, oh my God, that would be the greatest jam piece in the world. But I was like, all I know is someone better cut my eyebrows. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you're
I
not the
mean,
first one. You're not the first podcast to bring that idea up. I mean,
God
I
damn it!
think
I
I was
missed
just
it,
talking
Leo.
with another podcast, and they asked me directly. It says, "Hey, you know, what would it take to get you to draw our logo with the hosts and everything?" And I've been asked that a few times, and I think it's becoming a really naturally popular way for podcasts to kind of help brand themselves. I
Oh
mean, if
no!
you're doing a podcast on pop culture and comic books, what better way than to have a comic book representation of you as part of the logo or branding?
And it's actually funny you
I
say
have an
that.
idea.
Oh God! Oh
Okay,
no!
so
Everyone's
hear me
shaking their
out.
head.
We
Oh no!
we do it Scott Koblish style, but we put the main uh, hosts in the center, and then with all the different guests that we've had as well, and co-hosts and guest hosts and things like that, they all fill it like one of those giant Scott Koblish. I'm going to fit the entire Marvel universe into one cover kind of thing. I know other
Like a
people do it
George
too, but he's just
Perez
been
type
doing it a
of.
lot recently. Yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
wraparound of every single person to ever appear in this, you know.
Well, that would be like a never-ending project.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It would
there's
coordinate
just
that
extra
would
room.
take a while.
Yeah, but no, and yeah, and it's funny because oh my God, I actually have I got a sketch from Sean Murphy that looked into me, and he captured, oh my God, he captured. I must have looked really bored that day because I just looked very like, why? And I was just like, oh my God. So, and then I know Carrie, you got a commission from Joe St. Pierre where you're the Shade from Starman,
Yeah,
and that is just
Joe
amazing.
St. Pierre, one of my buddies.
One of the best.
yeah, dude, he
Oh,
did. I'll have to show you that. That was cool. Sorry, keep talking. I'll find
I'd
it.
love to see
yeah,
I'm
it.
just like,
but yeah, just just thinking about fun things you can do at cons just to make them interesting.
Sure.
But speaking of things at cons, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna say it. I shamelessly did a little plug by having all of these people here read Other Side, just slowly but surely hyping that story, as that's still one of my favorite Ghostbusters comics.
Oh,
So
thanks.
all of these people here have read that.
You and
So
no one else.
I
that's
listen.
so
I don't know.
good.
I don't know what y'all are talking about because people need to stop sleeping on this book because it's just quality, trade paperback
I
goodness
appreciate
right
that.
here, with a gorgeous Nick Runge cover, you know.
That's the trade. Is that the trade with the all 4 issues in one? Is that the one, or is that the
Yes,
single?
sir. Nope, all 4.
Nice.
But I also have the
Oh,
singles too.
wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
We
And
appreciate
signed,
you.
hey, listen, and signed both by you and Keith. And it's funny because when I met Keith originally, it was at like a signing in Long Island. And I posted a photo of him signing all of it, and then you commented. I was like, "Oh, hey, look, you got him on." I was like, "That's the goal." Years later, can't get enough of you, bud. So much appreciated, my man. So
Well,
Oh,
I'm very
oh,
happy
you
you like it.
captured them. You
listen.
did so good with the people. Oh, the character
Oh,
just.
thank you.
Yeah, and this is
One
still
of the things that's memorable about that run, it was 4 issues, and the ghosts were like real gangsters. Like
Mhm.
Al Capone and
Yep.
and I'm forgetting some of the other names now. But it's one of my things is I really enjoy um, drawing caricatures and likenesses of people. I mean, it's for better or worse one of the reasons why I still get hired and commissioned a lot is because of my ability to draw likenesses of people.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a lot of fun drawing, the bad mobster guys since they were based on historical people. With that
Mhm.
said, the actual Ghostbusters, we did not have likeness rights for that.
Right.
So I had to kind of come somewhat close, but I can't really, like literally draw like Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a
Yeah.
shot of the gangsters right now. And let's see, there's Al Capone and Meyer Lansky and
You got Bugsy, Meyer, Langsky. You got Lucky Luciano.
yeah. Yep, that's right. There you go.
Gotcha.
Oh, Drew
So
knows.
Oh, Drew
and I
knows.
think that the guy in the foreground, the big dude in the hat, I don't think he's based off of anyone historical, but I think I based his look off of of a mixed martial arts Russian champion at the time named
Oh, okay.
Fedor Emelianenko. If
Oh,
any
wow.
of you guys watch that stuff, and
I had a friend
yeah,
who was
so
really big
I
into
was just
that.
having fun. I like to have fun with that type of stuff.
Well, no, absolutely. And like I said, I loved it for exactly that. I'm a person of history, so I just thought, oh my God, the Ghostbusters versus mob bosses, you got all that. But I think for me, it was when they're on the other side, pun intended, um, they're teaming up with the quote unquote God Squad,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and oh my God, Keith just really captured. Like, it's so nice when people capture characters, but he just had Peter's humor down. I'm still laughing at, what was it, him making fun of J. Edgar Hoover? It's like, I'm
Oh, J.
sorry.
Edgar Hoover is another one too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot about J.
Yeah.
Edgar Hoover.
yeah, J. Edgar Hoover and Elliot Ness, and just like,
Yep.
it was. Hey Eddie, he didn't recognize you without the dress, and he's like, "I'm starting to file on you," and I was just like, "Yo, I'm done." But I could talk about it all day, and I've interviewed both you and Keith about it, so I'm eager to hear what MJ or Leo, what you guys thought going into this blind.
He doesn't give a shit what I thought.
You talk. You know what? I'm not even going to go with it. Not even to go with there, Carrie. I know you liked it.
I know. I
Um,
talk all the time.
it's true. But MJ, Leo, what do you guys think?
Well, I was just gonna say, not to focus too much on the story, but I love it that Ray was like excited to be in purgatory. Like only he would be excited to be in purgatory,
Mm-hmm.
But the your artwork, Tom, is just friggin' amazing in it.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I mean, I'm looking at these pages now. I mean, some of these pages, it's literally been since like over a decade easily
Mm-hmm.
since I've seen them. But, I'm trying some of them I can specifically remember what I was doing as I was drawing it. Like I remember, I think this sequence, like I was literally on the road, I think possibly around Chicago Con. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just drawing on the road and, in the hotel, in the car, staying at my friend's house, just trying to like keep up on schedule.
Right.
But
How
yeah,
many
and Moose
pages did you
Ballman was
draw
the,
in Keith's? Sorry.
pardon me?
I
How
was
many pages did
how
I
many
draw?
pages did you draw in Keith's spare room, since that's where you actually live in
Oh
my
no,
mind?
at the time, no, that year we did not see each other. It was a different artist friend. But I wanted to comment here really quick. Moose Ballman was the colorist, and he had done a bunch of colors for DC Comics too, including some of the stuff that I'd worked on with DC, like Green Lantern Corps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And with the time crunch that we had, and his ability to just convey the mood, with his colors so quickly and simply is really great. Really appreciated his touch on the artwork.
Very nice. But MJ, what do you think?
So I was just want to comment a lot on the visuals. Visually stunning. First of all, I love that even on the gory bits, the bloody bits, it still didn't go too dark. So it still I was believable that it still existed within the Ghostbusters universe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like Ghostbusters in Gotham. You know what I mean? Like so many
Like
other people have because of the fit them out, make it more darker and more. But I really like this overall feel and the vibe of this comic. I love the
oh,
lot of
thank
these
you.
the blue color theory and the green. It's fantastic. And again,
Oh,
I
thank
would
you.
believe this lives in the world of the Ghostbusters. I would 100%. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, this support to wherever the hell this goes. Yeah, I believe it. That would I would not even
yeah, I
I would not
appreciate
even
that
question.
comment.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I appreciate. As I was drawing it, I was kind of thinking similar. I didn't want to draw like a graphic horror comic. I
Right.
just wanted it to be believable. I mean, some gory bits and stuff, and it's we were thinking maybe for teenagers and up is kind of like the general audience we were going for. And again, credit goes to the colorist Moose, who added his touches of color to really make certain panels and scenes pop.
That was
Yeah,
so I
that
just loved
orange
it.
on the
It looked
blues.
amazing.
So, quick question, Drew.
Yeah.
So I know you're not going to ask too many questions on Tom because
Nope.
you've interviewed him before about it. But what
Yep.
drew you, other than being Ghostbusters? What do you love about this issue so much?
Well, I think what it is, it's just I'm a big history person. So I really love the research that Keith did, the gangsters, I think, again, the thing I love about Ghostbusters is that you can dabble in to history, mythology, that's the thing. So I kind of agree with what MJ was saying, that the vibe I feel that Tom and Keith really balanced was something that balanced the realism of, let's say, the Ghostbuster movies, and then by some extension video game, with the kind of playfulness, the cartoon accessibility of the real Ghostbusters. Even something like The Extreme, which was a little darker and a bit more mature, still drew the line of, while it's a bit more mature, it's kids can still watch it, and which is a hard line to walk because you're dealing with the supernatural, you're dealing with demons, angels, ghosts, things that are terrifying in an aspect, but that's always been Ghostbusters. It was finding the humor and the horror. And, and I feel especially, I mean, these guys literally came back from death and they're still cracking jokes, because I was like, this is their way of processing the horrible, ridiculous stuff that happened, which in an end, I think that's why I enjoyed the ending so much, because, and again, not going to spoil anything, literally they ask, like, and then again, this is another genius, Keith, the Ghostbusters are confronting the bosses, and they're like, why? Like, why are you essentially doing this? You guys are dead. Right? There's like, old habits die hard. And they're like, all right, that's it. Pop the trap. It's just, this is, even in death, you stick to what you know. So it's the same thing with the Ghostbusters. They couldn't be dead. They're like, no, we got work to do. So it's just a really nice balance, and that's why I've always loved it. And again, this was my first Ghostbusters comic, Leo. So you always remember your first. I mean, I've collected so much more that IDW did, and had the pleasure of meeting a lot of them. But I've always had a special place in my heart, which is, personally speaking, why I was a little dismayed when I did the research and I found that some people didn't really like this story as much, and I find that to be really unfortunate, because I was like, well, that's stupid. This is a great story, and it was a lot of fun, and isn't that what Ghostbusters is? So, I've always said, I thought, Tom, you and Keith did a great job with this, and being somebody
appreciate that.
I've been a Ghostbuster for over 10 years. I've gone to events. Many times, like, yeah, like from this one, you guys did a great job. So that's my.
No, we need more cheerleaders like you. A legit Ghostbuster fan. That we need more cheerleaders like you. But
Listen,
no, I mean, a lot of credit goes to Keith for his writing style. I mean, you kind of touched upon it. I mean, he did his research, and he has a certain style that really shows. His. I've always enjoyed how he writes dialogue and humor, and I like how he sprinkles it. Sometimes he'll do it subtly, and sometimes it's in your face. But he knows how to hit the right balance and not overdo it, hit you over the head with it too much.
Right.
Keith is one of those guys that, he should, for all intents and purposes, be one of the biggest names in comics right now. He is so underrepresented and underrated. He should be, because he's had so many opportunities just snagged from underneath him that was just right at that breaking point of him just being a superstar. In my mind, he is a superstar, but he's just had some unfair shakes in life, and he was the writer for a series called Joker Year One. That had,
I have that.
And he probably explained that to you. That's the whole story, and that should have been his monumental breakout issue right there to propel him into superstardom. But
and his story, I
we were just talking about this earlier.
Absolutely.
That script is so awesome. I've read a couple of his scripts. You have to have a fun time doing work for him, because the way that he writes his scripts, you can tell depending on who the artist is, and you guys are buds, so there's just like the humor that he imparts into when he's writing things, or like he knows that you know exactly what he needs, but he just throws out the weirdest little references and shit.
Yeah. Well, you know, he knows that I like to draw. And I mean, that comes with years of working together. And, you know, he's great to work with in the fact that, I mean, he'll literally let me do whatever I want. You know, if I want to change something up a little bit, he doesn't care. He's not a micromanager. And someone like that makes an artist's job really fun, to have that freedom. He trusts me to take his script and to turn in something fun and wild and unexpected sometimes. And I think he really enjoys it. He really enjoys to see how the artist interprets his script. And, you know, he doesn't micromanage, like I said. You know, he said it himself, you know, write it, and when you're done with it, just let it go. Let the next person in line do their thing with it.
Well, I mean,
we're all a team. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just like when we had Keith on, we discussed another collaboration you guys did that was adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that was, oh God, that was just, I just,
wild deep cut.
Oh God, that deep cut. We were just, I remember reading it and I was just like, okay, so that's happening. Okay, so we're going there. So, but and Keith had nothing but, you know, great things to say about working with you. He was just like, Tom just gets it. I can throw whatever, you know, whatever crazy thing. He's like, oh, okay, bam, you know.
Well,
yeah, but that was
Well, while we're talking about your collaborations, is it okay? As you two are listed as the plucky mascots of New Pain Productions, I just
by who?
Well, by on the Kickstarter, it's like for New Pain Productions. It has all these people, and then where it's Keith Champagne and Tom Nguyen as plucky mascots.
I thought I was a janitor, co-publisher / janitor.
No.
Nope, you're a mascot. Sorry to say, but Leo, could you pull up the ones that we were looking at just before he joined us? Because these are from the Switch, which you guys just put out. And
no, just real quick before we move on to that, talking about plucky mascots.
Yes.
That just reminded me. With Major Pain, you're listed as the cleaning ink brushes. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, custodian. Yeah, close enough.
Okay, let me bring up your pictures, Carrie.
Yeah. All right. So these pictures come from the original, the Switch, and then there was a Kickstarter that, if you guys are watching, we promoted this. You can get in on it, I believe. But
nope, it's over.
Well, the Kickstarter's been over, but you can still purchase it once it goes through. Correct?
Yeah. Yep. Oh,
it's not just the Kickstarter,
especially if you meet us at a convention.
Yeah, and it has the Queen cover is just amazing. There's so much fun with this.
Thanks.
But a quick note on the side, for those of you who did subscribe and pledge for it, there's been a couple issues on Kickstarter side with getting things, so just make sure you go back and make sure that if you pledged, your pledge went through, because there have been a couple issues there. My pledge went through, but these are like, this killed me. These are the original. I just pulled up 3 pictures from the Switch, but these are our team of superheroes, and we have the Truth, Bigfoot, Aquitas, that nobody can pronounce her name, and it's kind of a joke, and then the Ghost of Ronald Reagan.
Yeah,
and
which is another reason why I like drawing
it. How much direction did you get on these? Yes.
Well, I mean, you know, Keith, you know, he can throw any historical figure at me and he'll know that I'll have fun drawing it. And I think, if I recall, he said the Ghost of Ronald Reagan wearing a toga. So I just literally drew the Ronald Reagan in a toga. This is like the funnest thing I've drawn in a while. But yeah, the Ronald Reagan was created to be like the nemesis of Vladimir Putin, who, as you guys know.
Yeah, go to the next picture.
It's funny you bring that up.
Okay, so here's Vladimir Putin in the group. Yes.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god.
He's a little older
Oh,
now.
goodness.
He's a little older and a little more out of shape now, but he's a fun
Yep.
one to draw.
But-
That's
oh
all I'll
my
say
God, the
about
murder-
him because I don't want to disappear,
That's
fall off a
hilarious.
tall window.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, but these are a lot of the villains in the Switch universe, and they're super fun. The one that is not showing up and is not in here, he just didn't happen to be on this page, but is Loverboy, who we were kind of talking before the show. But if you want to find a character that you will absolutely just despise, one of the main characters in the Switch is called Loverboy, and he is a obese, red-headed mullet, muscle shirt with stains, wearing gold chain, mind controller with his thing, and he just totally abuses his powers and like makes people do horrible things. He just looks like he smells. And this is with like there's somebody called Grease Trap that's a character on your
Yeah.
screen right now. And this guy is skeezier than Grease Trap could ever hope to be. He's just nasty, and I didn't realize he wasn't in here, but just horrible. But
Well, Loverboy,
the
you'll get
last
a good look at Loverboy in Electricia too. You know, the one we have coming out. So you'll learn more about him, his history and stuff a little bit. And then Grease Trap even has a nice scene in there too. We showcased Grease Trap a little more than we did in the first issue that you guys read.
I just remember when she's describing it all to me,
New
and I
Page
was just like,
can ask Tom who he based Anti-Social Warrior on.
yes.
Oh.
would
I
like
didn't
to know
base it on.
that.
See, people think that I based it on myself, but I think that was like a subconscious thing as I was designing. The subconscious part was I just wanted to draw somebody just extremely handsome, and of course, no,
maybe,
no, it's just it just came out like that, I guess, and people think it looks like me. Doesn't
There you
look like
go.
me at all. Maybe a younger version of me at my peak.
But listen,
Hey, I want to show you guys something because I think Carrie was it you that said that you like the Queen cover?
Oh yeah. It's
Mhm.
so awesome.
So this is the original, and the original is actually smaller than you think. It's in my sketch.
Wow, look at that.
Ooh, fantastic.
That is smaller than you'd think. Wow.
I was
Look
just
at the
kind of messing around, seeing how small I could draw.
look at the goodies we're getting, guys. Well, and it's
Can
like
we
when
kick
she was
Keith out?
telling me. What was it, Tom?
I was just trying to say, hey, can we kick Keith out? I know he's listening.
No.
Either end. Hey, can you hear us? Can you hear
No,
us?
no, don't you dare, Karen.
Okay.
God, damn.
The
Oh my.
well then.
You
So there was
if you pay for Splash Pages Premium, you can see exactly.
Jokes on you.
what that
Jokes
book
on
is.
you. I don't even have a penis.
Oh my god. Oh, that was so funny. Oh,
So that joke.
Dear God.
done.
Um.
No, this has been quite an interesting night.
so the last one I wanted to ask you about though about shoot, I'm trying to load up a picture of how gross he is, but I wanted to know who came up with the idea for the last picture on that list, the pho place.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Any minute now, buddy.
Yep.
Fucking
We're like all going all over the place.
Oh my God, that's great. Wow. I'm sorry. That's someone's cover photo waiting to happen. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Like,
I
That's
just
Oh, now that you
100%
mention it, I
us.
should use
Yep.
it for my.
yeah, look,
My
I mean,
favorite part of this
which one of you
panel.
decided that was gonna go in? Or
Oh, that was me. I was just having fun.
that's so good, man.
But my favorite part of this panel is the sign on the left that says Casey and Yabo. You see that
yeah.
on the left of it? You know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about?
No.
Yeah.
What,
What's your-
That's
I
a
don't know.
nice. That's a nice little inside joke. KC is Keith Champagne, and Yabo was this former weird stalker guy I had.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
Actually, like Keith actually, got along with him and was friends with him, or wants to be better friends with him. But I got a restraining order against
Sure,
this dude. So ever since then, it's been KC and Yabo, and I think there's even a KC and Yabo cameo appearance in the next book as well.
Oh my God, that's
Oh.
great. So,
Oh,
but when
I
Carrie
am
was
gonna pull
telling
up.
me,
This
see,
is Loverboy.
yeah,
Oh,
Carrie,
yep.
no, thank you. I mean, Carrie, you're literally describing like the worst person you'd meet at a Comic-Con if he had the
Literally, yes.
if he had the purple man's power. That's basically what that is. Like you described it to me, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh, God. As someone who goes to a lot of cons, I have met that guy.
Yeah.
She has
Yeah.
been offered to take a photo with that guy. She's like, nope. No.
And he
I think
he just made her let him in the apartment and no.
Yeah, I think we've all run into a slimy type of guy like that we just, you look at him, you instantly hate him without really knowing him, but you just have that gut feeling in our life.
Yeah.
Mahana's just sipping the tea. Like, I don't want to talk about it.
As we were saying before too, Keith, since you're watching, even if he was a handsome man, he is the skeeziest human being representative.
Oh, no.
Like I dislike him more as a villain.
1000%.
Yeah. I just
He's
hate
literally
him.
the guy you love to hate, because we all know people like that. We've known of someone like that. We know precisely who they are as a person, which makes it so bloody relatable. Because we all have met somebody in passing, have heard a story about that guy, right? So now here you have a visual representation of that guy, and literally everybody who sees that knows what guy that is. Literally everybody.
Yeah, and he has a punchable face.
Yeah, just like
I love that you
Karen look. You look at that, that's a Karen. This guy is that guy. That's literally what everyone imagines him looking like. And that's
wait.
Called that.
Listen, no, we're not grease twoing this guy right now. Okay, calm down. You keep saying who's that guy. I'm like, no, we're not going there.
You totally made a visual of his personality.
Any person. That personality was great. It was like,
yuck.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's too good.
So gross. Oh, while I'm interrupting everybody and being that guy, this is that picture that you were asking about, or that we were talking about, from Joe St. Pierre. Just real quick.
Oh yeah, that's great. Super.
You got all the pearls perfectly.
That's great.
Yes, he did. Well, right now it's bushy because it's weird in Nebraska, but yeah,
it's weird. Yeah.
So
it's the summer in Nebraska.
Oh, I forgot you're in Nebraska.
It's true. Oh yes, I understand. The amount of product in my hair right now is real.
Listen, MJ, I'm looking forward to just sitting back and hearing you two goths gift and gab like, oh my God, my hair. I know. Oh my God. Let's not even talk. What conditioner do you use? I'm like, oh God, we're going to do an interview in a minute. Like, you two are ridiculous. One of my favorites.
Taking over my show. I'm the guest.
Did in the Switch is the way he drew Loverboy getting increasingly. Oh God. Leon's getting larger.
So that's funny because that was not intentional. I think because when I started drawing Loverboy, if you look at page 1, the splash page, I mean, he's kind of svelte, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then gradually he gets fatter and fatter. That was purely unintentional. I think what it was is that the book took so long to draw that just over time, I kind of wanted to find ways to amuse myself and make him look funnier and goofier on every appearance throughout the book. And it just kind of evolved or devolved by the end.
Well,
But that's his look
hilarious.
now.
It was great. I hate him so much. Thank
He
you for
does.
making
Really well done,
someone
truly.
that terrible. Yeah.
Batman,
Oh, we should go
Oh, thank
into
you,
the
Cliff.
Batman.
That's very nice of Cliff to say. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
actually,
think
I
it's a
was just
perfect
gonna.
segue to Batman Under the Red Hood.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. See, they didn't put my name on that one, but on subsequent reprints, like the deluxe edition, they did.
That's good.
Did you guys
I
see
mean-
the deluxe edition? I'll see if I have one left here.
I think
Pretty cool how they put it together.
Well, the funny thing is I saw the movie before I read this, and I was like, and I was doing that thing, when you're watching a movie and you're reading the book, you're like doing compare. I was like, wow, this was decently adapted. Like, yeah, certain things were changed, of course. It's always how it is with adapted. I was like, wow, this was fairly faithful. And yeah, look at that credit right there.
It's
Yeah.
still
Oh,
sealed.
that's beauty.
Nice. That's awesome,
wow.
man.
That's beautiful.
And then, like I said, I mean, what great collaborators you had on this story, which I feel like kind of was a cult classic in a way, because when it first came out, people, correct me if I'm wrong, but people weren't exactly thrilled with it, because we were undoing what is considered, that was the big three, right? It was characters who died and don't come back. It was Bucky, Uncle Ben, and Jason Todd. And so far, one of them are still dead.
Yeah. I think at the time, there was that issue, but what I recall working on that was there wasn't a lot of noise about it. When we were done with it, as we were working on it, to us it was just another job. Get the story arc and then just move on to the next gig.
Right.
And so the whole popularity of the Red Hood kind of, at least in my eyes, didn't really take off until years later, because immediately following our Batman run, see ya, Keith. Thanks for stopping in.
Hey, see you at Terrificon, sir.
At the end of our Batman run, we went on to do some Final Crisis, and then Green Lantern Corps, and that went into the whole Blackest Night saga. So, I mean, that was really the feather in my cap at that time in my career, was working on the Blackest Night, the saga. And I would jump back and forth between Green Lantern Corps and Green Lantern, and it was crazy because it was like, at the time, it was a second wind in my career, and I was getting invited to all these shows and everything. And but all of a sudden, the popularity of people bringing the books to me was all Green Lantern. Even my royalty checks was the top grossing one was Green Lantern.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, I get this DVD in the mail, and it's the animated movie from Under the Red Hood. And I'm like, well, this is kind of a surprise. I don't remember this at all. I think they sent me the movie and maybe like $150 check, just like a little pittance. Here's a tip. Thanks for working on this or something. But I never, to this day, I never watched the movie because I just never got around to it. But what I did do is I jumped straight to the special features just to see, if they used some of the artwork that we worked on. And then, of course, they did. So that was really cool. And I thought, well, maybe this Red Hood storyline is catching on, or it's more popular than I thought. Then all of a sudden, he's like, they're making like toys, and he's appearing in video games and TV shows. And then over the years, he just kept blowing up to the point now where now it's like the Red Hood is the thing that people associate with with me more than Green Lantern stuff. It's totally
Yeah.
surpassed the Blackest Night stuff in my resume, my cachet of titles that I've worked on by far. Like it's crazy how the comeback from behind, and now it's at the top of the heap for years now. And I'm going to argue that it's still really the reason why I feel like I'm still somewhat relevant and get invited to shows is strictly because of the Red Hood.
Okay.
So
I'll take it.
when you're like, when somebody approaches you and they're like, you're going to be inking Batman, are you just like, I'm going to need a bigger pot of ink? There's going to be so much black involved.
No, at the time, no, I think at the time, I was just thinking more like, okay, cool, we're working on Batman. Because it wasn't my first time working on Batman, because before then I was working on the Justice League.
Right.
So, that's got Batman in it. So it wasn't like, it was cool, but I wasn't, intimidated by working on Batman. I've had plenty of experience working on Batman, and but I think originally we weren't even supposed to be on the book, to be honest with you guys. Originally, we were supposed to be on Nightwing right after Justice League. Well, after we were done with our Justice League run, we did a 12-issue maxi series with Joe Kelly called Justice League Elite.
Yes.
And then after that, the 12 issues were up, and we were like, oh, what are we going to do next? And I believe we were supposed to be on Nightwing. And then at that time, it was just us expecting the next gig. But then we got Batman instead. So I remember, as Doug Menke would say, one of the editors kind of fought for us when it was originally decided we were going to be on Nightwing. So then he ran down to Dan DiDio, who was the executive editor, co-publisher at the time, and he says, what are we doing? Why are these guys doing Nightwing? You got to put them on Batman or something at least. They just came from JLA.
Right.
And, Dan or whoever was in charge was like, you're right. So they put us on Batman, and the rest is history.
Absolutely.
This is a cool scene right here, these 2 pages, because I heard that the TV show, the live action TV show Titans, had this scene in it.
Yeah.
So that I saw a clip of it, and it was pretty cool. It's pretty close to what we had drawn.
It was really funny because, like I said, I've read of Red Hood, because I collected a lot of Batman, and whatnot, and I really enjoyed like the evolution, because you saw like straight up villain to evolving to an anti-hero who dabbles in kind of being a hero but has no problem crossing the line. And I just remember like watching the film, and then Jason Todd, especially when he's later on he's Red Hood, was voiced by Jensen Ackles, and I was like, wow, this, like, the delivery was just so good, and I was like, wow, like, it's hard for, like, I'm the kind of person where it's hard for me to read the character and I don't hear that voice. So coming back, that's exactly what I heard. I was like, wow, this was really, like, again, if you had a chance to ever watch the film, I would say, like, they adapted it really well. Obviously,
Yeah, that's what I hear too.
Yeah, so
I'm really embarrassed that I haven't. I mean, I worked on the original storyline. I still haven't watched the film.
Hey, we'll try to put you on the
It's kind of
spot.
like, you hear some actors, then like, after they film a movie and they're like, well, I never watched it. So I guess it's not too different.
No, but it was really solid. But again, Carrie, MJ, Leo, if you guys have any thoughts, please.
Oh, I'm shocked. This was my first time reading it. Absolutely friggin' loved it. You're talking about Jason Todd, like, even currently, he's very relevant in the Batman universe, and he's definitely become a larger part of the Bat family.
As hugely into Hush as you are, Leo, I'm surprised.
Same.
Because this is like kind of like you take one cut from Hush, and then a whole huge storyline was built out. And not exactly,
Yeah,
but it when
yeah, I'm
it
ashamed that
shows the
there's still a lot of Batman I need to get caught up on.
I
oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing is that is how they kind of tied it all together, and they really just, like I said, like they really, in my mind, they took a character who really was you, like Tom, you, Judd, Doug, and the other collaborators, and you guys took this character who was essentially just a carbon copy Dick Grayson, who was just not written as well as he could have been, to the point where he was voted to die. And you guys turned it around and you made this traumatized, brooding anti-hero with a legitimate gripe,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and whatnot. And I think that's the thing. Like I always see red hoods at conventions, and it's always
Yeah, it's crazy.
it's
Yeah.
really
I
cool.
see those cosplayers and I always want to take a picture of them
You
because
should.
it's my way of appreciating and being so thankful for what the Red Hood has done for
Yeah.
my career. I mean,
Actually, one of my
whoever.
friends, we go to cons together. He does a really good Red Hood.
Oh,
Actually,
cool. Yeah, that's great. No, I mean, I never thought in my life that I would be literally have on my resume a key issue. That's what they call these, highly sought after collectible issues, is a key
Mhm.
issue for those who don't know. And I have one, in my career, and it's great. He's got a following. Fan fiction. I mean, he's got his own subreddit. I lurk the subreddit of Red Hood just to see what people say and post. And sometimes they'll post panels from the stuff that I've worked on. But I also want to say credit to Judd Winnick. I mean, he's the guy. He's the guy that turned it around for Jason Todd and Doug, of course, with his one of the best fight scenes you'll ever see in comics is the Amazo fight scene.
Oh God,
in
yeah.
this
Yeah.
during
Oh,
our run
I-
on Batman.
another thing touched on
And-
Amazo.
Yeah,
I
and
reread
of course.
oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I noticed something how it was written when they were talking about Amazo, when it was Batman and
MJ, I'm sorry.
and
Can we go
Robin.
back to that previous thing? Let me. I want to say something interesting
Yeah.
about this page. So that opening shot of the black mask.
That's so
Mhm.
good.
So David Ayers, the director of Suicide Squad, actually tweeted that picture back, when it was Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I don't like to call it X.
Yeah, I
But,
agree.
but yeah, he actually tweeted that panel. So that was really cool.
Oh, nice. Good for you, man.
But I also want to say, last but not least, Alex Sinclair, the colorist. I've said this before. He really tied everything together. You can see why he's one of the top colorists in comic books. He works a lot with Jim Lee, and super nice guy. I give him so much credit because I remember fighting the craziest deadlines during this run. In fact, fun fact is, on one of the issues, I forgot which one. I think it was the one with Amazo, actually. That issue, I inked it with the help of an assistant in 1 week flat. So
Wow.
22 pages in 7 days. And, I couldn't believe I pulled it off. I mean, I was barely sleeping at all that week. And Alex Sinclair just kind of put his little magic touch on it just to, maybe clean it up and make it look better than it deserved. But really pleasantly happy with the teamwork.
Oh yeah,
did.
absolutely.
It's glorious.
No,
It really
thank you.
is. Truly.
absolutely.
Yeah, and then getting to work with Dr. Freeze or Mr. Freeze. I mean that splash page you saw of Mr. Freeze at the end of one of the issues. I mean that's a killer shot right there. One of my favorite panels I've ever worked on.
Yeah. No,
He's out of costume. Yeah, that one right there.
That is
and again, I think the thing that I thoroughly always enjoy is, because I think people just get, oh, let's get to the fight scene. It's like, no, the buildup is what really makes it, the humanity, the little moments. Like I remember, what was it? one of my favorite scenes was a small one where it's just the guy is fixing up Mr. Freeze's suit, and
Yeah.
and he's just talking about like, all right, well, if it doesn't work, I'm going to die, and if it works, there's a malfunction, and I live, I'm going to kill you. And I'm like again, Mr. Freeze would do that, and this guy's like, yeah, sure, I'm just fixing the suit, and it was just like, again, just small moments that really make it. It's like the banter between Nightwing and Batman, like they would banter while they're taking down, Bane or Amazo or whatever the hell comes their way. So I just feel like some people just get so caught up in like the blockbustery moments of, oh, let's have the fight scene and the explosions and the how many times can Batman punch the Joker? But it's the little moments, like realizing, oh my God, the Red Hood is Jason Todd. He did not die. Oh, fuck. These moments, the humanity, that's what really just, it sits with people, and I feel like.
And that's what separates professional writing from, amateur writing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it was just fantastic. You guys were all great. Yeah. I'm good.
And something I talked about with Phil Hester, he can do, the silent comic, where there is no verbalization, and there are pages, they're like 3 or 4 pages in a row at some points in this where there are no word balloons, there's no narration, there's nothing, there's just following the story. There might be some sound effects, that the letters are throwing in, but it doesn't just tell a fight scene. The story is like being told, and you guys capture that. And that is really hard to do, especially in something as deeply layered as Batman and this particular storyline is. And it was just amazing to well, I guess not read, but look at and interpret and just like pull so much story from it. That and the comparative scenes when there people recognize who Jason Todd is, who aren't Batman, based on how he behaved. I can't remember. It was one criminal who had been busted by him before, and he was able to I saw these exact motions, and that happened. But you guys just nailed it so well in this comic.
Yeah, well, it's that's the same thing that I tell aspiring artists that want to break into comics. Carrie, what you said about Phil Hester. I said, how should I present my portfolio? And I said, well, just draw a few sequential comic book pages with panels with no word balloons. Show that you can tell a story just with your artwork.
Absolutely.
Don't put word balloons on it. Don't really show them what you're capable of just through art alone. And that's a solid step towards having a good portfolio.
And I think that's a awesome way for a Batman story with, very minimal writing. Like you're not getting with this page right here, you're not getting huge word balloons, but you're getting, just little bits and pieces of Batman's thought as, he's well, actually this is Nightwing. But yeah, it's I forgot where I was going with that.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Leo, you started trailing off on your own discussion. Like I literally watched the thought sink into the quicksand there.
Yeah.
No, I want to say also,
little thoughts with lots of picks.
What were we saying?
I want to say also that there's a few scenes, and I want to say maybe that that upper panel with Batman punching that soldier guy, I think that was used, and a few other scenes from Under the Red Hood. Like Bruce Wayne with the cowl off, and then in the rain, there's a panel there. Zack Snyder used it in the special features section of Batman v Superman when that came out,
Right.
the Blu-ray. So that was kind of cool to see our art flashed on there too.
Oh, nice.
Well, and then,
Cool.
but that's, I think, the thing, like you said, like you guys never know. Like to you, this is just a job we were lucky to have. We did the thing. And then, like you said, later on, like, wow, I didn't realize I was going to be working on this peak issue in comic book history, and like you said, like it's still putting money on your table. People are still,
if you go back to Amazo too, that big splash on the left, that's
Yeah.
an iconic shot too. of amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Really
Yeah.
showcases, Doug's mastery of the, the musculature of the bodybuilder type and everything.
Oh, yeah. And I've met Doug once or twice. He's the nicest guy in the world. And that's the best thing is that you guys are all okay for the most part. Everyone's just the most pleasant people in the world. Like I remember thinking, I was like, wow, these guys are all like, listen, we can't believe we made it here too. So thank you. Like, let's chat. You want me to sign something? Okay, cool. It's so
Well,
great.
I mean, there's no point in being anything but nice.
Absolutely.
So,
I
guess in every industry there are some of those.
Yes, but overall, just great.
Thank
Can
you.
I ask you a question? I have this very weird obsession with lettering, and I just have a question. When you're doing it, you had some amazing. You went through a number of them, but you had some amazing letterers that you worked with on this. And Leo, I told you to ignore those, and probably still ignore those. But how much? This sounds weird, but how much when they have like the sound effects going on is them, and how much is it like they put up the like boom and the building is exploding or the person is exploding, and then what part of it, like, yeah, this is a Rob Lee explosion. How much of that do you ink and how much is just filled in by how they do it and such? Because I'm always crazy curious.
Nowadays it's pretty much always the letterist that does that. I mean, it's indicated in the script what kind of sound effect generally that the writer wants in a particular panel. And then the letterist just kind of adds his or her own flair. And I mean, they have the creative freedom to do that too. That's why they're professionals as far as what kind of font, how big, and they kind of use their judgment as how much of the panel it wants to take up, what it can afford to cover up and what it should stay away from. When I broke in the business, I broke in on a book called Major Bummer with Doug back in like 1996. And I mean, at the time, even after Major Bummer going into Superman, the Man of Steel, our next book, the letters were done by hand. So yeah, that was a different time. And if you ask me, if I was a hardcore original art collector, I actually prefer comic book pages with hand lettered art, because to me, the word balloons and the sound effects really complete the page, the black and white page. And nowadays, you just find nothing but pages with no lettering on there. And you have to actually hunt down the printed book just to find out what the story is and what people are saying.
So you just do the back and let them do the over, and they like fade it however they want it. And
yep.
Okay. So I just ask weird questions every now and then because
That's not a weird question at all.
Carrie,
there's no such thing as weird questions.
Stop putting yourself down, Carrie. It was not that weird. We've asked weirder questions, okay?
We have,
to
be fair.
You know this. But I mean,
there you go, Major Bummer.
And then on top of it, Tom, like, you've worked in the industry for decades now, and you've watched, I don't want to say the rise and fall because that's not fair, but you've really watched a lot of the changes in the industry, and you're still working in it, still finding the work and whatnot. But like, how do you feel like, with all the changes, what are the pros, and in your mind, what are kind of some of the cons that have come with the change?
I mean, I guess it depends on what change you're talking about. I mean, there's, things are the biggest change to me is things are just much more digital now. I mean, you have comic books that are drawn entirely with like an iPad, for instance, as opposed to traditional pen and paper, which is what I grew up with and what I entered the industry with. And it seems like, I was just talking with this the other day with Dan Jurgens. You guys know Dan Jurgens. He's the guy that killed Superman. The other day, we had a convention here, and we were just kind of talking about this aspect over lunch. And it seems like, especially with indie comics, it seems to be the vast majority of indie comics now are drawn digitally. And I think part of that is because the up and coming generation of artists, I mean, this is what they grow up on now, where digital is kind of normalized. and you have like the big two publishers like Marvel and DC. I mean, we still have a higher percentage of traditional art, but that's kind of eroding over the years. I like for me personally, when I'm at home, I like to draw as traditional as possible. And when I'm on the road, when it doesn't make sense to bring all of my tools and ink and brushes in my little backpack, I'll draw digital. I don't have any problem doing that. I mean, it took me a couple of years to really get comfortable drawing digital. But for instance, an interesting contrast is, you look at the original Switch book that Keith and I put out, the 90-page book. The majority of that was digital. Like 90% of that was digital. And as I drew a good chunk of that when I was out of the country, when I was in Vietnam, vacationing there and visiting some relatives and stuff. On the flip side, this particular sequel is all traditional, except for one page. But so it's kind of like a total 180. But I do enjoy traditional for the simple fact that there's still a very good hardcore art collecting market. If you draw digital everything, you don't really have any originals to sell. I mean, it's great supplemental income for an artist like me and many other artists to have originals to sell at shows. But if I don't have any originals, all I have are prints.
Right. And
Yeah.
and thank you for sharing that, Tom. That's very nice. Go, Karen.
Oh, I was just say that's something else I've noticed with Kickstarters lately. Some of the things you can do is purchase the original cover art and things. And this is something that was odd to me. I don't write comics, obviously. I write books, but I was approaching a comic book artist about doing a cover, and it's crazy to me because the way it works is like in the industry so far. From my perspective, when I go out, I've purchased book covers before, and you just buy it, and you pay for specific rights to it. So it's like, okay, I have the physical and digital rights, so I also have the audiobook rights. Okay, I pay for all of them, tip the guy, things are great. But if you're buying work from at least from a specific comic book artist, it was like, it'll cost you this much for me to make a cover for you. And then if you actually want to buy the original art, it'll be this, and I'll be able to sell prints off of it on my own as a contract deal. And it makes total sense. It's just coming from never having thought of that before, I guess. You can make,
and every
it's interesting.
every artist has their own little deal. I'm fairly easygoing. I just give one rate. Unless they really, especially nowadays in the digital age, if someone were to come up to me and said, can you do a cover for my book, or can you contribute something, they actually have to specifically request that they want the original, because nowadays it's more or less assumed that it's just going to be digital. What nowadays what you're asking for in general, as someone who's looking for artwork for their own IP, is that they just want to commission somebody to get an image. They just want something to use visually for their book. The original art is just a separate thing or a bonus thing, and that's something to be worked out with the book owner and the artist. So yeah, it really depends on the artist and the situation, what you're going to use it for. If it's just I don't know, commissions, I mean, obviously they have to be traditional. And if they want to use the commission for something like a pinup or a page in a comic book or the cover, usually I just kind of have an all-inclusive price for my commissions.
Right.
I'd be like, okay, this is what it's going to cost. Here it is. Do whatever you want with it. I don't care.
But
our business transaction is done. I don't care.
So
really.
you're just like,
I mean, if it's a big corporation, like if it's like Nike or something, or Adidas, or just a big corporation that's well known, yeah, you charge them higher. You charge them appropriately. But if it's like an indie person or just someone kind of doing their own thing, like I'm pretty simple and straightforward and easy to work with.
Right.
Hey, I'm putting out my own comic book. What would it cost to get some artwork from you? I just give them a price, give them the artwork, and say, go nuts, have fun, good luck.
Fair enough.
And what kind of commissions do you take at cons so that people know, because you have stuff coming up? Because obviously the project that you showed us before that was amazing, when we were talking about
thank you.
Gambit, is on a completely, there's no way that would be a commission at a show.
That would not
So-
be considered a con commission. That was actually
Yeah.
just a direct studio commission outside of the convention scene. A con level commission would be a little simpler, obviously. I'm not above taking a commission of that level. Just don't expect it that weekend. I
Right.
can accept any commission you want me to do, but some require just more hours than what a convention we can do. And the convention is just so chaotic in that I really can't get a steady flow. I think over the decades, I've gotten slower at conventions doing commissions because I used to just bang out sketches. But, a lot of times now it's just stop and go because I'm just chatting with people at my table and I really can't get a good lead on my drawing. So usually I end up just taking it back to the hotel room and just drawing all night.
There you go. Well, speaking of things at the con, I personally, in all our interviews, I love when, creators like yourself are talking about, like, my favorite stories are like the after con meal or hanging out, drinking at a bar. And just thinking, because again, I feel like people build comic creators as you guys are, like a step above us mere mortals. But I'm like, no, they're people like us. They eat, they drink, they fuck around, they have fun. And it's always so funny. I guess I remember, what was it? It was at an interview, and I was interviewing Jimmy Palmiotti, and he was just telling me stories about Darwin Cook, the late great Darwin Cook, just like drinking at pubs in New York, just fucking around with people. And again, I'm thinking like, oh my God. So do you, like, again, you're talking about, oh, I had lunch with Dan Jurgens, the man who helped kill Superman. And I'm just like, that is so cool. Like, are there any like fun stories, those after con meals, things that you're like, well, that happened? And you're like, only in comics, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, the funnest stories are the ones that I probably incriminate myself in because I'm
Fair enough.
part of it. Let's put it this way: I was a pretty wild young pro back in the days, and made a few lines if you look in the right spots.
Enough is
back in like early 2000s stuff, just goofy fun stuff.
Okay, good.
But nowadays would probably be considered kind of controversial, but. No, it's most of us are just, like you said, we're just people. We just happen to have a really cool, lucky job. Countless times I'm doing shows, and we'll actually invite some of the fans that we meet that weekend. Say, hey, this is where we're going to be. Come up, join us for dinner. Come hang out with us. The interesting thing, though, that I find when I do dinners at conventions and there are fans that have joined us, we don't just invite anyone, but if we have a good rapport and we kind of know each other, we're like, yeah, come join us. Oftentimes I will see off the corner of my eye, the person, the comic book fan sit, and they're just quietly just taking everything in. Like they're not even talking, but they're so happy. And they got a smile on their face, and they've got everyone's got their big plate of food in front of them, and they're just like listening to all of our stories, and all the pros are talking to each other. And but I'll try to involve the fan, or after dinner, I always try to ask questions and get to know these people that I meet.
Right.
And I'll be like, "Did you have a good dinner?" And he says, "Oh, it was awesome. I was just listening to you guys. It's just like fanboy's dream." I never really put myself in that. I guess I understand it, but I always feel really bad that if I feel they get ignored too much, then I'll try to step in and ask them a few questions and talk to them a little bit. But it turns out that they're fine. They're fine just being ignored and just listening in on our private dinner conversation.
That's awesome.
Everything that you've just said is pretty much all of us if we were invited to any of these events. We would just
Oh yeah.
No, yep. Keep telling this great story about being in that room with that person. Saying that one time, like, yep. Oh yeah, no, totally.
Let's be honest, Drew.
Yeah,
At one point, the conversation would end up with snakes.
Okay,
Yes,
you know what?
with Leo.
Snake.
And I don't shut up
What does that
ever.
mean?
No,
So
MJ. Hold on.
okay.
Leo, that's strike one. You're on timeout. Okay. Okay.
Leo is a dual wielding
I
axe
didn't do
holder
anything,
who
I
takes
didn't do
on
anything.
snakes that are over 6 feet long in his old property. The family property was a multi-acre
Oh my God.
compound with multiple houses, and there were some snakes like that totally infested the property. And so there's this ongoing saga of Leo the warrior who like literally dual wielded hatchets so you could like hold them in place with one and cut off their heads with another and stuff. And I have pictures, I have stories on the Owlite Network. If you would like to hear the adventures of Leo Pond, go to the Owlite
That
Network,
sounds like a
Owlite
cool
Society,
cover.
and there's a full episode of Leo Pond killing things or getting
See,
beaten
that
in
would
the
be
head with various
like,
pieces of farm machinery.
I'm shaking my head.
Leo as an axe wielding like snake killer, like as a comic book
Yes.
like branding
Oh,
thing.
there
Like
you
I can envision it right
Yeah.
now.
Well, so yeah, the house was infested with snakes. I was killing about a dozen a summer. But on the
Jeez. Is
really
it,
hot days,
just harmless snakes or like venomous snakes?
Like 6 foot long snakes.
Monster.
yeah, they were black racers, and black racers are they're not venomous, but their bite they carry like some disease, but they're very aggressive as well. And when it got hotter, trying to catch them, there was one time where it was going up the wall, and I used axes. But sometimes I needed to use an axe to like pull it off the wall, and then the other one to dispatch of it.
Oh,
I have pictures.
Wouldn't you be ruining the walls?
yes.
No, well, this was it was an old farmhouse, so it was but it was it was on the floor, so I'd pull it down. And I get it on the floor. And
so wouldn't you ruin the floors with the axe and chop it off?
There's like hanging in the barns.
This
It's
is-
better
you guys
than what
would
happened when
never
his
be doing
dad
this to
found the
fucking-
nest of the copperheads, because
Oh,
that
dear.
involved fire and
Okay.
fuel.
Hold on. Okay. All of you need to stop. Okay. Because I swear I know you're all doing this to fuck with me. Number one.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
this
always
man
do, Drew.
lived a horror movie, and yet he cannot handle horror comics. Okay. The irony is no. Hold on, little one. These are the things, and he shrugs it off like it is not the weirdest, most random thing in the world. Every time it's like, oh yeah, no, I did that thing. Yeah, no, my dad, just decided to pour gasoline down a well full of snakes and light it on fire. Like it's just like at some point he just like,
I beg
yeah,
your
and then we had
pardon.
yeah, exactly. No, MJ, and then he just so nonchalant. Oh yeah, and then we had toast for breakfast. It was just the most natural thing, orange juice, and we just went about our day. I'm just like, how? I was like, buddy, to say therapy is not the correct word.
The amount. Okay, watch the Leo Pond Owlite Society episode. It's fabulous. Like the amount of times his father totally didn't try to, but almost came close to killing him with farm equipment. You shouldn't have to ask somebody. So how many times was it you got hit in the head with a backhoe?
3 times.
Yeah. Enough for him to just keep hearing Benny Hill music when it kept hitting him.
But
I love that Benny Hill music.
yeah, no.
That's
That's the thing.
Like chasing all these ladies and
yeah,
fast motion.
exactly.
If you had us at your dinners, we just, well, obviously I wouldn't shut the fuck up.
He would not.
Oh, what did you do with this? How much fun did you have working with this person? How is this guy? What do you do?
Carrie,
What's it like?
eat your pasta.
No, that'd be fun.
What?
You know, we don't mind questions at all because it keeps the dinner going, and it kind of bridges the gap between awkward, because even comic creators, will have like awkward silences, and some of them are socially awkward, so we don't mind questions.
Yeah, and
It's just one of these things where I hate that when we do that, because I always end up feeling like the adult, and I'm like, why am I the adult? I want to enjoy too, but Carrie channels my energy, and then suddenly I like Carrie. I think we do like a Freaky Friday. You're just like, oh, I have all these questions. I'm doing this thing, and I'm like, Carrie, you're me again.
I keep my brain with the just like what the fuck in it, but I have the Drew, oh my god, I need to know what the fuck going on at the same time. So it'll just be like, so what are your views on comparative religion, and how is that used in a possibility of this, and this, and the things that you did?
Yep.
And I do need to mention that you were talking about like post-con things, and Drew, you were on. I can't remember if you were on through the whole thing with Dean the other night on my
Yeah,
other network.
most of it.
We were doing a like how to con from attendee to guest. Like we covered all the press, vendor, buying a table, guesting, just showing up,
Yep.
what you do. And there was just this concept. And don't forget the booze and sex. Just never forget the booze and
Ever.
sex. There's always the booze and sex.
Always
It's just
the
like
booze and sex.
we'd start talking about something else, but also remember the booze and sex. It's just
Yeah.
it never went away.
The comic book industry is just full of opportunity for groupies. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then even
Sex,
our
drugs, and
level
art.
MJ was chiming in there. It's like, yep, no, you got to make sure you stretch. You got to make sure, especially depending on the costume. You gotta stretch. You don't know how fabric is gonna move. I was like, I feel like I should smoke a cigarette after this show is done. Just be like,
I'm
try
cosplayer, and all of that.
Oh,
is
I have one. I'm going to derail it still.
No,
Okay,
let's
so
not.
the one thing we learned, it's the last part. One
Okay.
thing we found, okay, because the show was taking place on, the basic show is on a haunted house owner's experiences. So they were talking about haunting cons too. So we learned about a bunch of different cons, and he had to bring up the fact that the number one buyer of like lubricant is the haunt industry, because getting costumes on and the drool and things that are used in different things.
Yeah.
So we're just like, okay, so the comic book industry, just if we're going to have all the drinking and the sex, we have to hook up with the haunt industry, because then we get at a discount.
all right, well, Tom, thanks for joining us. This is great.
Sorry.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
done. Now it's time for Leo to be the normal person here.
Yeah,
in this
let's
group,
try to
and ask
reel it in
casual
for a
things.
second. I
Yeah,
know we
sorry.
are running a bit late, but couple last questions for you, Tom. What do you currently? Do you have time to read anything now for fun? And if you do, what do you read?
I generally don't. I have a stack of books over the years, literally, that I like to read. I will say, with that said, during some of my cardio sessions when I'm on the treadmill, I did recently finally read some the Batman Court of Owls.
Yeah.
Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. So I read that, caught up on that, and then started reading. I'm not done with it yet, but I started reading Dark Knight's Death Metal.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a natural progression, with them as a team. Snyder and Capullo. And I've met those two guys in the past too, and they're nice guys. And then, no, that was it so far. As of recent memory, I mean, I've been watching more documentaries and movies and stuff while I'm on the treadmill. But as far as like reading, I also have Batman Offworld issues 1 through 6 that I just barely started dipping into.
You're gonna love that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm too busy drawing. And the thing is, if I'm reading, I can't work. So it's like the limited time I have during the day. I mean, I need to focus on my deadlines and stuff. So. Yeah. It leaves very little time for reading, and whatever time I do have left over, I got to take care of my dog and just do other things.
Of course.
Well,
Mhm.
one recommendation for you, since you do have limited time, it's a short read because there's only, I think, like 6 issues so far. But Absolute Batman is killing it right
Oh
now.
yeah, some people have been telling me Absolute Batman. I mean, isn't that the one that's by and far the most popular of all the Absolute titles? Is the
Uh,
Batman?
yeah.
I mean,
And
all the Absolute titles are great, but yeah, I think Batman has the most sales.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
so far.
Okay, I will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just
Well,
because you said it, Leo.
yeah, totally.
yeah. Good job,
It,
Leo.
Yeah.
it reminds me a lot of when Legends of Dark Knight launched. It's a
Okay.
very
Yeah.
pure, even though it's Batman in a different universe, it's a very pure Batman story. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I'll
well, Tom,
definitely check it out. I just have it on my iPad now because
yeah,
it's easy when I set it in front of me on the treadmill to just kind of flip
totally.
through it as I walk. Even though
oh,
I'm traditionally I prefer the floppies, of course.
Of
yeah.
course.
Mhm.
Well, Tom, thank you so much for coming on with us. We really appreciate it. It was just absolutely awesome. So, as we, as you're signing off, are you going to any conventions that people can see you? And what is the best way for people to interact with you on social media?
Yeah, so on my social media, you should see I put up a photo of all my appearances, and the
Okay.
next one I have scheduled is next week, Heroes Con in Charlotte, and then I have Fanboy Expo in Knoxville. It's their biggest show in Tennessee, coming up in July, followed by San Diego Comic-Con, which I do every year, and then of course Terrificon in August. I have a SuperCon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota this fall, as well as Baltimore Comic Con this fall. So yeah, quite a few shows left, and then a 2-day show called Fall Con, which is in my neck of the woods, in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Awesome.
No
Okay.
shortage
How is the one in Sioux Falls?
shows. That's great. I've been with them since they started as a small hotel show, like a dealer room show, and then they just every year. I mean, I want to say that was maybe 2000. Oh my gosh, it's been a while. 2010, 11. But yeah, I mean, they've exploded. They've grown, and now they're taking up the entire convention center there in Sioux Falls, and it's great.
Uh,
Great community out
It's
there.
it's kind of my neck of the woods.
Celebrities, comic book creators. Yeah, I mean, how
Do you know
far of a
about how
drive
many
would that
people
be,
attend?
or how long?
Well, I'm in
Oh,
Lincoln, Nebraska, so it's like I'm halfway through Nebraska, but like getting to South Dakota is only a couple of hours, really, depending on. I think Sioux Falls is towards south of South Dakota. I'm just like I went to
yeah,
Planet
Sioux
Comic
Falls is
Con
kind of
and it
like
was
on the
just a little
border.
bit huge.
Yeah,
So
no, like compared to Terrificon, I mean, uh, I'd say total floor space wise, it's similar. It's similar.
okay.
It doesn't have quite the crowd of Terrificon, but it's a good show. It's a good show. They have voice
Okay.
actors
That,
and actors and actresses and comic creators. They keep growing every year. So yeah, it's a good show.
awesome.
All
Well,
right,
maybe
cool.
I'll see you there because that's kind of close for me. So
That'd be great because Keith is going to be there too. So yeah, you should. You could do dinner with us.
Nice.
that
There
would be
you
so
go.
much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
the plan is Keith is going to fly to me in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and then we're both going to drive to SuperCon, which for us is just a 4-hour drive. So it's a nice little road trip.
All right, cool. Well,
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to try to make it to that one.
Yeah, let us know.
indeed.
Otherwise,
will.
people can just reach me on social. I mean, I'm easy to find on social media if you type my name. So just try to reach me that way. I'm not the fastest getting back to people, but I eventually do.
Yeah.
Awesome. And like I said earlier, we have a lot of Tom's information in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Tom, thank you so much for your time this evening. Absolute pleasure to talk with you. And when you're ready, there's a leave studio button on the bottom. When you hit that, if you can just let it finish uploading, because we re-edit the show afterwards with all the individual
Okay,
audio.
I'm under that.
Cool beans.
So hit the Leave Studio first, and then let it finish uploading before I close the entire.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll loop you over to a different page. It'll while it uploads.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for
Awesome.
having me, guys. It's fun. It went by fast.
Oh,
Indeed.
It was so nice
we'll-
to see you
Yeah,
again.
good seeing you again.
Yeah, and we'll see you at
Yeah,
Terrificon.
we'll do it again. Absolutely. If not, I'll see you on social media until then.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. Have a
night.
good night, everyone.
You too. That was a lot of fun. Only derailed just a
Yes.
little bit.
That
And-
part of that is a huge my bad.
No worry. Well, I mentioned the snakes, and so everybody watching, there's still plenty of show left. And Drew, who is next week?
Oh, okay. So now we're going to talk. Okay. So it's
Yeah.
fine. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed having Tom on. We're definitely hoping to have him on again when we see him at Terrificon with a bunch of other people that we're working hard to schedule. Next week, we have creator John Callis, who, I apologize, John, if I said the name wrong. Really, we're notoriously bad at pronunciation and splash pages. Every year we should work on it. Who's been a collaborator who's worked on a ton of Ghost Machine level work. So we're really psyched about talking to him about that. Thank you to Rob Lee for the hookup. And and then after him, we're going to have an old friend of the show stop in. So going to be pretty good time. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
Good.
And MJ, just real quick, the pouring of the gasoline.
No.
He found
No.
my dad
Yes.
found a nest of copperheads, so he poured gasoline down into the nest, lit it on fire, and the snakes were coming out on fire.
Oh,
So instead of just snakes, you had flaming poisonous snakes coming
flaming
at you.
Yes.
note rope. That's fantastic. That's
Yes,
just
Yeah.
lovely.
and they're
Oh.
copperheads, so they're
No.
very venomous.
No, Leo, you don't talk now. You don't talk. Okay? You, Precious, you don't talk now. Okay? Talking is over because you telling snakes the horror autobiography. Okay? We don't talk now. Okay?
We're making
Because
an independent
your
comic about
father-
the life of Leo Pond.
Right, exactly. No. Because
Ooh,
your
that would be
father did not live at a time where arachnophobia was out, where you don't tell the thing that is dangerous and trying to kill you, you don't light it on fire. You don't make it furtherly dangerous. Okay? You
I'm
just don't.
sorry. Well, that's like Resident Evil shit that you have to do, man. That's some shit that you would have to literally do in like a Resident Evil game.
Yeah, well, you know what? Listen, you want to go on a road trip with Leo to Raccoon City, MJ, you have fun with that.
I am also with that. They're literally they're lying there what goes on there. Absolutely not. Nope.
Exactly. So as Leo said, we're running slightly a little behind. So I think honestly, let's just jump into the news. It's not a lot, and then we can just jump right into Carrie's Kickstarters. Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for Variant Watch. Not a lot to see here as everybody's staying inside today. But this is super exciting because as we've seen, Marvel is returning to the world of Age of Apocalypse after over 20 years since we saw the original storyline end, even though we've been back to that universe countless times, because if it's good, let's just run it into the ground. But this one, especially, Jeff Loeb is coming back to write Excellent Apocalypse, and to make it even greater, we have legendary artist Joe Madura, aka Joe Mad, coming back to do the variants, which is amazing since he was one of the original artists who worked on Age of Apocalypse all back in the day. So Marvel released some of the variants as we're seeing there, and by God, they're just fantastic. Like, Leo, please just like run through them. Look at that.
There was one that was released.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I have to really do my homework before I talk.
Yes, you do. You're like, this is Variant Watch, and I'm like, every single other story has more variant covers than the variant watch does.
Well, but okay, then let me rephrase.
But it's
So,
a good cover.
well, again, you have Weapon X there, which is one of the most notable versions of Wolverine that we've seen. So they've confirmed that Joe Mad will be doing a variant for each issue. So that's issue 1, right over there. And I mean, jeez, like if that's any indication, we are in for a great time.
Yeah,
But
and his
yeah,
if it's
Mhm.
anything like his first story in the original Age of Apocalypse, that's going to be friggin' awesome.
so
I have a question.
Yes.
Given that he has a glove and then a stump that are going out, but both have the claws,
Mhm.
if Wolverine can totally regenerate himself, how is he missing part of a hand, or did they just give him a really stupid glove on the other side?
No, they Carrie, they explained something happened to his real hand. Um, it's been so long since I read Age of Apocalypse, but they created a reason why the 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 claw remains, but the hand is gone. So it's just Elseworld shit.
Okay,
It's the best.
just
Yeah.
wondered. I just
I
noticed it. I made the picture. I just went like, that's a stump claw. Okay.
mhm. Yep. But
I
again,
vaguely
I don't remember it. I don't, MJ, if you remember it. So I have no idea. I do not
I know
remember how.
he lost one arm, not one part, the hand, but I think it was one. The other one's just his glove, you know.
We
did,
just
did,
seem to.
did somebody bite off his hand? I vaguely remember
God, it's been a long
something.
time. It's
Leo,
been like
I think you're confusing him with Aquaman.
no.
No.
Yeah, no, because you're talking about bite off. I remember Aquaman had his hand devoured by the piranhas.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Did Cyclops zap it away?
Zap it away.
Probably.
Well, whatever it is, remember
He was
would've
trying to
had
touch
be
Jean.
cut adamantium, so it'd have to have been something high powered, or worst case, Magneto says, I'm done with you, and just one of two options.
It's the same
high-powered had to
length,
do it.
so. And that arm is more muscular than the other one, slightly, just slightly.
Actually, Jeremy is right. Cyclops blasted it off.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Jar
true.
Jar!
Nicely done, buddy. Yeah.
And Logan had it capped instead of waiting for it to regrow so he could rescue Jean.
It's always the
has
girl.
to do with Jean.
It's Jean. All right. So point is, everybody, if you love Joe Mad's work, he's back at Age of Apocalypse, turning out dope artwork like that. Check it out.
That's so cool. It looks so
Right?
sick.
Indeed. So, but there's two more news stories coming up. Both of them I'm very excited to cover. But before I know it, hold on. Leo, do the thing.
We are ready for Drew's news because it's a really
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains plot under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News, your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, it's a heroic cruise in the world of Drew's Comic News.
I hate you all.
Love us.
I hate you all so much.
You love us so much.
Except MJ. She doesn't deserve the hate.
What was that?
I said, except you. You don't deserve the hate.
I was going to say, what did I do?
No, you didn't do anything. I said, I'm leaving you out. No, what? Actually, no. I take it back. You're back in. You want to be part of the team? You get the hate too. All right?
I can barely hear anybody, so I'm doing the best I can here.
Yeah, all right, fine. So, I am actually super pumped by this because this is some straight up 90s nostalgia for me. Street Sharks is returning to comic books for the first time in 2 decades. So Mattel has said they are teaming up with IDW to revive the cult classic 90 heroes in a brand new series that's going to be hitting the comic shops 2025. This is a 5-part issue miniseries, Street Shark issue 1, reintroducing readers to the Bolton brothers, who, if you guys don't know who these were, four brothers who are turned by an accident into half man, half shark siblings on a mission to keep their city safe. Yes, it is a not so shameless ripoff of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But it's still super fucking fun. And on top of it, it's not the Turtles because these guys actually don't like pizza. So we originally saw them surfacing in 1994. It was an animated series and a toy line. I know I still have the toys. This was a pop culture phenomenon with their ridiculous villains, action, and of course, all the shark puns you can imagine. So the series is written by Stephanie Williams, who worked on Nubia and the Amazons for DC, and artist Ariel Medel, who did TMNT versus Street Fighter. So this is just a nice balance of nostalgia and modern storytelling. So we're back in the streets of Fission City. The sharks are facing off against, twisted experiments gone wrong, muscle bound mutant lobsters, ruthless squids, deranged scientists turning themselves into terrifying piranha hybrids. There's going to be a lot of seafood jokes. I can just see it already. So we're looking at motorcycle chases, burger-fueled brawls, and just over-the-top mayhem while we welcome back Ripster, Jab, Strex, Big Slamu, all of it. I'm so pumped. And we've got some great artwork there. We had Philip Murphy first, Elizabeth Beals, and just absolute ridiculousness. I mean, look at that shark beefcake action right there, So I have nothing more to say. This is just absolute 90s adrenaline, and I am so excited.
Go for it, Carrie.
Nope, you.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask Drew. So, do you need a bigger bus?
Yes, all the bigger buses. And fun fact, everybody, if you want to look this up, and this is 100% true, look up Vin Diesel Street Sharks commercial. I kid you not. One of Vin's earliest jobs was selling these toys. So there's nothing funnier than now watching Dom Toretto talk about the Street Sharks and which one is his favorite as he's selling the toy in the commercial. It is the funniest thing you will ever see.
Oh,
Nice.
speaking of that, go for it, Carrie, because mine's totally off the rails.
No, go. Mine wasn't relevant, really. It was just a comment.
Okay. Speaking of commercials, Paul Rudd did a Super Nintendo commercial.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you see he's doing a new Nintendo Switch commercial? And he has the long hair like he was in the 90s. And
he's basically doing it again because he wants to make sure we're paying attention.
Does he look younger now, though, when you look at him? Because I swear the man is not aged.
Yeah.
No, never. He looked younger in Ant-Man than he did in
Clueless.
Thank you. Yeah.
I am convinced he's just regenerating. I am convinced of this.
Oh my God, as if.
No, what it is each year he grows, he needs to throw another kid off the cliff in a wheelchair. And then that way he doesn't.
Wow. Get
on the
I can imagine
with
him
your
doing
mac
that.
and me shit.
Iron Gel, that's funny.
I would say this, but oh my God, that is such a good thing. Oh my God. When Uncle Necro was still alive, that was one of the movies that we watched on his birthday that I was just like, oh my God, really? We have to watch this. And I sat through that whole thing. And I appreciate that I did, but Jesus Christ.
It's
that
so
scene
bad.
over and over and over.
No, Carrie, less is more. Okay, just moving on. Can we get to
I was done.
Next
story.
and final story? Okay.
This is so cool.
Okay, so as we already know, Jason Aaron did a fantastic job with Scrooge McDuck with the Infinity Dive. All of us here at Spud Pages loved it, and we told him, the man, we saw him at Terrificon, that
I bought every cover.
Yeah, we know, Leo. That's your thing. Every cover. But Jason Aaron will return for Uncle Scrooge, Earth's Mightiest Duck.
Oh,
So this is going to be a limited series. The first issue is releasing on September 17th. We're going to see, again, stellar artwork. Giuseppe Camicoli, Mohamed Asrar, Ciro Cangliosi. Just absolute awesomeness. Because in this series, the planet has been conquered by alien invaders known as the connoisseurs, who are hoarders of the rarest antiquities throughout the cosmos. As they tear the Earth apart, pillaging fabled treasures, only the world's greatest adventurers can stop them. But Scrooge McDuck is essentially facing a battle unlike any he's fought before, trapped in his own mind, trying to preserve his most precious memories. So basically, all Jason Aaron said, he said he's loving this. Scrooge is one of the greatest heroes in the history of comics. So he said, with this series, he was like, we have to go bigger, not just incorporating more Marvel artists in the mix, but sending Scrooge on like the most epic story of his career, fighting for the one thing more precious to him than gold, which is his own memories. So again, the covers are once again fantastic. You have Gabriel Delato, Mark Brooks, Jay Gonzo, Chrissy Zullo, fantastic. And I can't. There's not really much more I can say. I think we might even have issue 2 over there too. And again, they're all stunning. Look at all this. You know.
Don Rosa would have a lot to say about this. If you ever get a chance to meet the man at a con, by the way, he has a chair sitting out front, and he does invite you to sit so we can have a conversation about Scrooge. But I loved what Jason Aaron did with the Infinity Dime. I am kind of scared because of how dark Jason can get, of where exactly this might go. Not that like I would not like it, just one of those things where it's like, if you have small children, it might be absolutely fine for them, but it's Jason Aaron, so it could be a really twisted kind of thing going on, which I am super excited to see either way. I just love the idea.
Well, I will say, yeah.
I was just going to ask, is that a Donald Duck frozen in carbonite?
Yes. I think so.
To me, that's what I thought when I saw it.
Listen,
Only
guys.
It's gold.
I already feel that this could be a little better than Infinity Dime because I don't see a single Frank Miller cover. So.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, when I was buying the covers, it seemed like the Frank Miller one was like a giveaway.
I mean, we have to remember that we should appreciate what he did over the course of his life, and that he's still doing his best, but take what you can and don't make the man. I've contributed to some of the like, haha, but honestly, he's doing his best, and he has a legacy. So, it's not at his top performance, but
it's still good. Carrie, I totally agree.
Yeah,
it's
I just want to make sure we aren't looked at as a group like we're hating on him or anything. We're just
no. Carrie, we ripped
MJ.
Oh shit! It's back.
Carrie, I totally agree, and I appreciate the disclaimer, but I just want to say we poke fun because we love.
Yes.
It's never a disrespect.
Yes, we appreciate how amazing he was, and sometimes it isn't as amazing.
Yes, exactly.
But that's
all right.
Yeah.
So on that note, that's pretty much everything. So check that out. I believe that's coming out a little later this year. So there's that'll definitely be something for us to talk to Jason the next time we have him on the show, or perhaps see him at a convention. That'll be pretty freaking cool. But that's it on the news. So Carrie, Kickstartered.
Yeah.
Yes, it is time.
Heroes or Little Red Ronin first?
We're gonna do Little Red Ronin first.
Okay.
I have nothing to open this week. Somehow I don't have anything in, which, given the amount of Kickstarters that I fund, is insane. So shut up, fun Kickstarter and run. Woo, woo, woo. All right. We're going to go to Garrett Gunn right off the bat. I know I've had him on for Warcorns a number of times recently. This is something else. This is Little Red Ronin Collector's Edition hardcover. The deluxe hardcover limited edition print featuring Red, a determined warrior on a quest to vanquish the Great Wolf. This has 5 days left on it. It will be fully funded if it reaches fully funded. But you can order it up to Monday, June 16th at 8:35 a.m. Central Time. A terrible beast has haunted the citizens of Poletown for decades, though most of the town denies it. That is, except for Red and her grandmother. Although the townsfolk believe she's crazy, disappearances and gruesome killings still plague the town with no explanation. Determined to clear her family name, Red hunts the Great Wolf in hopes of exonerating her grandmother, who lives in exile for spreading terrifying propaganda. What you can expect from this, the limited series is available in 2 Kickstarter exclusive. By the way, I'm assuming Drew is all about the Dave Lentz cover there. But it's available in 2 Kickstarter exclusive hardcover formats, the collector's edition, which is standard colored, and the artist edition, which is black and white cover with upgraded red foil logo and black and white interiors, which is unique to this edition. The series will also be available as separate issues, 3 in total. Each issue is 24 pages in length, with new covers just for this Kickstarter release, referred to as legacy editions. There is a slew of variant covers for issue 1 that you can pick up in the reward and add-on tiers, titled Little Red Ronin #1, choose a variant. And if you buy both hardcover editions together, you can also get a collectible slipcase. If we go back to the covers, the David Lentz, Paul Gorn, Garrett Gunn, and Albert Morales covers are only available with the big bundle or the mystery bag. As far as the tiers go, most are under $6. They range from $8 to $299. Most of them are under $60. You get digital and physical copies, catch-ups. There are if we go on to, I'm like, stop, go, move around. There are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle homage foil cover sets that you can get as a tier, and that's if you go forward a little bit, we'll get to those, for $80. There's some of the internal art, and then I think the next one that's the mystery bag. They're the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle foil cover set. You can get those as their own, or you get it as a tier or as an add-on. There is the $299 I'll take everything please. The only thing that's missing from that tier are special edition variants that are hollow foil, metal, etc., which are made exclusive to the mystery bag add-on. What you can get are on the add-ons are the TMNT for $60 instead of $80. The mystery bag, and in the mystery bag, each variant mystery bag contains 1 comic book feature exclusive art by one of the following artists: Tyler Kirkham, Martin Simmons, Chrissy Zullo, Matteo Santagluco, Ryan G. Brown, Sam McKenzie, Kit Wallace, Paul Gorey, Caleb Addy, Dave Lentz, Garrett Gunn. The variant contained in each pack is guaranteed to be a chrome, foil, or metal, with a chance at one of several chase serialized variants, including a Prism 1 of 10, 3D Chrome 1 of 25, Gold 3D Metal 1 of 50, and sketch cover featuring original art 1 of 100. And so that pretty much covers everything that's going on here. Garrett Gunn has yet to disappoint me. Everything comes out on time. Everything comes in good condition. It is sent out in great packaging. And I think it's something that I put it down as being our fun comic. It's super fucking bloody, but it's Little Red Riding Hood told as a samurai story, basically. So this is just going to be super fun. And check it out. There's only a couple days left. There's already you get a free sticker. Those stretch goals are open. So go hop out, grab a hold of it. We'll have links somewhere, or just, look up Little Red Ronin on Kickstarter. You can find it, or Garrett Gunn. Just follow his stuff. He always puts out great comics. So that's that one. I love that Dave Lentz cover. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I saw that.
Looks like 5 days left to go, and it's like
Mhm.
triple its goal right now.
Good for them.
Yeah. And I don't always tell you guys when things come. I try to let you know if I know something's going to have an early bird special, so you can get signed up for it. But I also want to catch the like. Sometimes we miss a week here or there, or this is the like catch it before you lose it kind of thing. So
Right.
yeah. So this is what we've got going on here, and then we have one more left to do. I think that looks like a super fun comic, though. I really want to check it out. This next one is by 24/7 altogether, so it's like 247 Comics. It is called Heroes Be Damned by Vince Sunico and the return of Terry Kavanagh, as well as Nicholas R. Lukic. Basically, the murders of heroes and villains by a mysterious figure seeking revenge. A gore fest of gore fests. Heroes, villains, kill or be killed. This project is going to be reaching its funding goal in 16 days by Friday, June 27th at 11 a.m. Basically what this is about is during the height of the superhero zeitgeist of the 1990s, an elite class of superpowered beings rules the hearts and minds of the people. They also control the streets and skies of major cities across the globe, using their superhuman abilities to tamp down crime and injustice. Led by the seemingly invincible American hero Victory, a burly 75-year-old widely recognized as the world's first superhero, a team of capes known as the V-Force enjoy the trust of the world's citizens, except for the rare few who understand the true and devastating cost of living among beings who wield such potent powers. Then, one day, the unthinkable happens, and the same heroes who are known for fighting valiantly to protect humanity begin dying in violent, sadistic ways. Soon, it's clear that these deaths are not anomalies, and that they're not going to stop until the brutal and relentless killer known as Loathe exacts the revenge he seeks. These guys, the rewards, they're keeping it really easy with 7 tiers. One that came with original art is already gone. You're going to spend between $36 for the standard edition with all 3 comics in print and digital, up to $346 for collections and with a bunch of different very cool covers, as well as blank and ash can covers. The big buy here is $1,266 will get you commission creator Vince Sunico to manifest your darkest comic fantasies in a 17 by 22 giant-sized double-page spread wall power wraparound cover quality commission, artwork crafted with the same savage energy that defines Heroes Be Damned. Limited to just 5 patrons, this tier includes personal consultation with Vince, plus all previous rewards. When the heroes fall, you'll be there to witness every savage panel in black, white, and blood. So this is a black, white, and in some cases red comic. And the add-on, you're seeing the different covers and such here. The Bill Sienkiewicz cover is amazing. It's a metal cover, and you get the holographic foil cover and the Bill Sienkiewicz cover. You can buy those as add-ons, as well as you can get the Sienkiewicz cover. It's $166 as an add-on, or you can get it as its own tier for $198. If you get it as its own tier, you're going to go ahead and get the deluxe PDF of them as well. You can also get metal trading cards and the Deception game, which looks really, really cool. It is a card game based upon the books. And okay, those are the regular trading cards. I think, yeah, there we go. It looks just gorgeous, and it's super fun. They're all the rules and stuff. It's not just those couple cards, but they're giving you an example of the artwork. And so it's very simple here to order. Just pick out what you like, order it, get it, have some fun. I would go ahead and get the card game. I might be, it depends on if I'm able to afford to fund this one or not. I've kind of gone a little bit overboard lately, but it's just gorgeous. And we don't get enough black and white these days. I mean, I love colorists and I love what they're doing, but seeing the black, white, and red kind of theme going on is it feels right for what we've seen of the artwork from this. What they showed us. This just looks like it's going to be a real fun, really gory, really intense comic, and it's a return for Terry Kavanagh, so it should be a lot of fun.
Okay.
And yeah, and that's what I've got for going ahead and doing Kickstarters.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Wow.
Yay! Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. There's something else going on right now. I got it.
Yep.
Don't worry.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Sorry. Little technical difficulty here for a moment. But
Yeah.
yes,
Somebody needed to be
it is
blocked.
now taken care of. We had a troll. The troll is now gone.
We did. Okay. I think that's about it. Sorry, we
Right.
lost MJ. Drew, did
Yeah,
you...
her Wi-Fi dropped.
Oh no. Okay. Well, we can wrap things up then. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. You know how to find me. Just Google me. But, more importantly, follow these awesome people. There's a lot of information showing us up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And we'll kick it over to Carrie.
Hey, when I'm not here with these amazing gents, I'm over on the Owlite Network doing some stuff. We're kind of taking a break for the summer because a lot of people are moving and doing things. If you want to find me, though, just look at Carrie Sanders on Facebook. If you see an angry crow, that is me judging you, so you know that you found me. Links to things that I've written and the other things that I do are all found there. Look them up, reach out, chat, just let me know where you found me, and I'll try to get back to you. And Ratatosker would appreciate any contributions to his liquor cabinet. So there you go.
Mr. Drew.
I'm not buying that squirrel anymore, booze. Indeed. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed our time with Tom. We did. And just keep supporting us, man. So if you need to chat with me, I'm Drew Malo on Facebook, Ghostbusterman 1984 on Instagram, Drew Malo on Blue Sky as well. I'm here with the Dorkening on Splash Pages every Tuesday. I'm working on a bunch of other projects as well. We're busy. We'll get back to you, we promise. Just within this decade. Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that note, we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.